Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Buffalo Roundup, your podcast home for all things VHS athletics made by the Buffalo for the Buffalo. I'm Drew Shaltry, joined as always by Cody Hills. This week, big news across the fall sports world, especially here at VHS. Football getting into the late stretch of the season, but we're also getting into the playoffs for just about every other fall sport. Biggest news of the week, swimming, back-to-back district titles. The boys and girls sweep the district meets again this year. Top team in the area.
Yeah, and I swear it's up at the fast pool in Ocala. We could hear head coach Jacqui Mitchell scream from here. An excited head coach for her program. Like we've talked about it this year, Drew, especially on the girls' side. The boys dominated. The girls, 4 points, I believe, was the separation. Mm-hmm. You know, this is a team that had close to 90% new first-timers at the varsity swimming competition level. So to go back-to-back, to get the victory, to not so much have to rebuild, but essentially reload this program. What a job that she has done. What a job that Heather Tomasian has done. Top to bottom, this program really strong, and they got to celebrate a little bit yesterday.
And we're going to talk to Jacqui about those victories coming up in the second segment of the show today. Very excited to hear from her. Obviously, a lot of excitement right now with the program. Bunch of great numbers coming out of that meet. Obviously, plenty of personal bests, several individual district champions, a lot of qualifiers for the regional. So all in all, incredible day, really 2 days with the diving portion happening on Monday, but great 2 days for the VHS swim and dive program. Really exciting start to the postseason here at VHS. So getting into some of the other stuff, obviously football was on the road this past weekend. We've had this game circled for a while at Cocoa. We always knew it was going to be the hardest one of the season. That did prove to be true as the Buffalo took their first loss of the season down on the Space Coast on Friday.
Yeah, really tough one, I think, for the Buffalo. And again, you talk about that. We had it circled. You knew it was a big matchup. It's a 3-time defending state champion. Those just don't pop up on your schedule, let alone sit in your district. I mean, you aren't surprised when a team of that caliber. We knew that their record a little bit deceiving coming into that one with the hard schedule that they've played, suffering that tough 27-6 loss. It was really a tough one, especially a little bit of a crash landing, I think, back to earth for this team. Not always a bad thing, though, especially as you're getting ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to maybe get a little bit of a check at some point. Just a little reminder that, while the record may have been perfect, the team still maybe hasn't been. There are still things to improve. There are tougher opponents out there. We've talked about the strength of schedule, despite opponents like Southlake and Tavares. For the most part, it's been a relatively easy one for the Buffalo in terms of difficulty with some of the opponents this year. You've talked about the number of first-year head coaches that they've had to face. And so, again, coming into that game with an 8-0 record, obviously they were feeling good and they deserved to feel good. But you run into a team like Cocoa, even in a year when Cocoa is sitting on 4 losses, that's still a quality program with good coaching, with great athletes. And I'm not saying that anyone took them lightly, but I definitely think that there was a caliber of opponent that the Villages had not faced yet. And they kind of got a taste of that on Friday night for the first time this fall.
Yeah, and it was a lot of firsts, I think, for this Buffalo team in just terms of how a game evolved and unfolded. Look, the first half, they were in that ball game. It's 6-0 at halftime. I think VHS had 17 or 18 first downs in the first half alone. Hadn't faced a third down until the last couple minutes of that second quarter. I mean, you talk about moving the football, just couldn't punch it in, just couldn't finish drives, and it's been such a big emphasis for this football team this year because it was something they struggled with last year when they barely snuck into the playoffs. Was they could be better finishing drives with touchdowns. Just didn't have it on Friday night, finishing drives. Just couldn't execute, couldn't get the ball over the goal line, had a couple turnovers, and also had some things done to them that hadn't been done yet. He gave up over 400 yards of offense. Cocoa ran, I think, for 250, 252. VHS was held at a season low at under 50 yards rushing. I mean, the things that had really started going the Buffalo's way much of the year, that they were able to be the dominant team, the physical team, the more aggressive team. You knew it was a challenge, and you knew you got that challenge as soon as they stepped on the field. Second play of the game, VHS with a turnover, unfortunate fumble. It was an uphill battle from there, but look, I'm really proud of the fight, right? You don't know what the future holds. We'll talk about the future in a minute, but you might get a second look at this Cocoa team potentially. And I think, yes, there's not a whole lot of moral victories in this sport, but I think you can feel somewhat okay with the loss, especially going into the open week this week. Yes, there's another regular season contest to go the senior night against Mount Dora, but if you start to allow yourself to peek ahead, I think there's things in place for this Buffalo football team that could potentially lead to a deep playoff run this year.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in just a minute. Also, we should mention, since the last time we did this podcast, the Buffalo also beat Astronaut 35-0 for their first district victory.
Not bad.
Now, if you follow this podcast, you probably already know that. It means you're a pretty big Buffalo fan. So we're going to assume that you did know about the Astronaut game, but just in case you didn't, we're not skipping over it. 35-0 victory over the War Eagles. Certainly nothing to kind of gloss over, but now being a couple weeks removed from that, we are living in a reality where the Buffalo do have a loss on the record. Now, it did have a big hit on the rankings. Buffalo fell several spots in the statewide rankings. They fell to 9th in Class 2A after being 3rd prior to facing Cocoa. It also dropped them to 2nd in the region, which is probably the most consequential, but for the reasons that you were just kind of alluding to there, it might actually work out in their favor. The top 4 now in Region 2 are Bradford up out of Stark, then the Villages, then following them is Calvary Christian out of Clearwater, and then Cocoa is 4th. Now, those are your 4 big Region 2 contenders. There's not a lot of room for them to move anywhere as things currently stand. Bradford has a lead in the RPI system that is more or less insurmountable at this point. It's a large enough gap from them down to the Villages and Calvary, who are fairly close together. Calvary's going to play Tampa Christian, who I believe have 1 win on the season. That they're not going to get a big boost from that. The Villages, should they beat Mount Dora, unfortunately, not going to give them a huge boost because that team has lost a lot of games, playing a brutal schedule.
Yep.
But I think that holds them safely in the 2nd spot. And then Cocoa's a fairly big drop down because of their 4 losses. They're not going to be able to catch up to Calvary. So you're pretty much locked into 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what that means is the Village is going to be the 2nd seed in the region. It means you get a home game round 1, home game round 2 of the regional playoffs. It also means Cocoa and Bradford are likely going to face off in that 2nd round. The 2 toughest opponents in this region, potentially outside of the Villages. If there's 2 teams that you really have to worry about as a Buffalo fan, it's them. You're only going to have to face 1 if they're the 1 and the 4. There's also the possibility that Cocoa goes on the road to Bradford, gets the win there, and then you get to face them at home for the regional final. So I think that's a really interesting possibility, and not just a long shot outcome. It's maybe the likeliest possible scenario at this point.
Yeah, it's not. You certainly don't want to look too far ahead, right? You want to stay grounded. And that's what this team has done so well this year.
But we're not on the team.
We're not on
the
the
luxury
team,
of doing
so
this.
we're going to go ahead and do this. Yes, if you could lay out a yellow brick road to find yourself into a regional final, this is probably the way that you would want it to go if you're VHS, or maybe even beyond that, if you're able to get, past your first ever regional final or be a region champion for the first time. It's setting up for a good scenario, I think, for VHS. You just mentioned it. You avoid the 2-headed monster of Cocoa and Bradford. Yes, you don't really know what's in the cards with Calvary Christian. You know Bradford a little bit better. You played them in the playoffs last year. You obviously know Cocoa, a district opponent, played them a week ago. There's an old saying, the devil you do know is better than the one you don't. I think in this scenario, you're fine with letting those 2 devils walk away and take your chances with Calvary. But you're going to have a tough matchup too. Depending on who it is, right? There's a little bit of a screwy situation there with maybe that District 7 champ jumping up and taking the final at-large spot. I think if the season ended today, VHS would have, lo and behold, Astronaut here in a 2-7 matchup. Of course, VHS winning 35-0 2 weeks ago against Astronaut. That's not a bad road to start off with. I think you probably feel pretty good about that. And then you get in that 2nd round. But, yeah, look, I think if we're able to just hit a reset button here at this bye week and kind of, again, I love how you said we're living in a world now where VHS has a loss to its name, because that's something we haven't had yet before, a little bit different adversity we haven't had before. I think overall it's a really good starting point, and it's a good reset point for this football program.
So coming off the loss against Cocoa, though, going into a bye now ahead of that senior night matchup against Mount Dora late in the season for a bye week, but it actually feels like a good time for it, chance to bounce back from that Cocoa loss. What do you feel like the big focus is for this team going into that bye. And then, of course, they're going to have a week off after that as well with the new built-in Week 12 in Florida high school football.
Yeah, I think it comes at a really good time, first and foremost, for a little bit of R&R, a little bit of rest and recovery for this football program. They've gone 9 straight weeks in the regular season and then a preseason classic before that against Harmony. So you're talking 10 weeks of the same routine, getting ready to play someone on Friday night, and the physicality comes with that. So from that standpoint, it comes at a really good time. And I think, it's always a finicky thing. I think football coaches are different in this aspect. Some view it differently than others. Maybe fans view it differently. Maybe podcasters view it differently, you and I. But I think an open week after a loss, it is all how you approach it. It's either you let this linger or you let it sort of refuel you and sort of refuel your engines to try to get back and bounce back from it. I think this football team and their makeup, Drew, I think that they have been the type that what little adversity they have faced this year, they have not only come back from it, but they usually meet it head on and attack it and not so much try to recover from it, but attack it. I'm excited to see them do it here going forward.
Okay, well, off this week again, next Friday night, the 31st Halloween night, VHS will be home to take on Mount Dora for senior night, and then, again, another week off after that, and then we'll have the regional playoffs starting up. We're looking forward to seeing that. Buffalo should be at home for at least one round, likely 2 in those regional playoffs. Should be a good time to get some extra Buffalo football here in November. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, head swimming and diving coach Jacqui Mitchell is going to be joining us to celebrate 2 district championships for the second year in a row. We'll be right back with that on the Buffalo Roundup. Be sure to follow along with all of the action through our VHS Buffalo social media channels. Check our Facebook page listed as VHS Buffalo Athletics. Our X account can be found at Villages Buffalo, and we share photos, videos, and more on our Instagram at Villages Buffalo. And hey, we've got YouTube, of course, likely how you found us today, at Villages Buffalo there too. As always, we thank you for your support and your social following of VHS Athletics. All right, we're back and joined today by head coach Jacqui Mitchell. Coach, congratulations. 2 huge wins for your teams yesterday and technically Monday as well. Again, the 2-day district swimming and diving championships. Always exciting, but to go back to back. And I know that this was a goal for such a long time for this program, was just to win a district title, to now be the reigning district champions, the repeating district champions on both sides. How does that feel?
I know, it's incredible. We went into it, of course, wanting to put down the best swims that we could. Like I've said all this season, our girls are so new, so young, 6th graders, 7th graders. We put middle school girls up against seniors who are well-versed in swimming, who have been doing it for years. And I'll tell you, every kid on our team came through. They knew that we needed the numbers, we needed the points, and every swim mattered. And that's all they kept telling each other is, every swim matters. Go in there like we're in last place. Go in there like we're in last place. And of course, the boys, just halfway through the meet, I think we were completely untouchable. But none of them held back.
Yeah.
Not one of them held back. They still went in and just swam as fast as they could. And then, of course, the girls, we knew backstroke brought us back. Then Crystal River had breaststroke, and then we were down again. And then again, like last year, comes down to the relay. And we just were like, let's see this happen. And Leanna Bella did the best job she could against Crystal River. And she was about a body length, maybe a body length and a half behind. Ella Dariano stepped in and she brought it back up on that last 75 into the 100. And then I knew with Lane and Lara, we should be able to shut it down. So that was so exciting. Yeah. So now we beat them by 4 instead of 1.
So just to explain how the district meet works for the folks at home, it's very similar to a regular swim meet, except you're competing across all the teams that are there for
Correct.
However many points are available. So it's 5 places, right, per event for
at that level, 16.
16 places that can get you points.
Correct.
And then it's just the most total team points accumulated
Correct.
Throughout the course of
the entire day. So
those boys almost hit 500 points.
Yeah, so just to go ahead and give you the scores, the boys had 483.5 points. Second place was Eustis with 292. Like you said, not close. The girls, again, remember that gap. The girls won by 4 points, which is literally the difference in one event between being like second and seventh.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is that close. Or you talk about just 4 individual swimmers finishing third instead of second, fourth instead of third. That's all it is. It is that narrow of a margin. So when you talk about that final event, that 4x100 relay, coming down to that event, it was that important at the end.
It was that important at the end. It truly was. And like I said, these girls that maybe they placed 12th, they still gave us points. Most were top 10. I mean, it was incredible. They were pushing it and personal best times and dropping times. And Coach Heather had put a link up about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, for tech suits that were on sale at Amazon. And they all got their super suit, and we were all excited that they were suited up for that. And, that's a psychological thing. You're in that suit, and
look good, feel good, play good.
That's 100% it. And so they did that, and it was thrilling yesterday.
I want to go to close to 30 personal best times.
Yes.
29.
29.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. As a coach, from a coaching standpoint, that's what you preach all year, right? Is you're swimming your best at the end of the year, and you're building towards that week after week. To have that come to fruition for so many of your swimmers, talk to us about that. What is the feeling of, is it relief? Is it euphoria? Is it everything where it's like you're building and you finally get there?
Yes, I think it's a little bit of everything, because every single season, the kids always plateau a little bit. So then you'll find we have 2 meets in a row, not as many personal best times. They're all kind of hitting a little bit of they're feeling easy in what they're doing. So we did a lot of drills on faster turnover, where, arm speed and matching kick speed. And we feel that worked really well. We talked about, of course, just good starts, good turns, good finishes. I mean, if you can do those 3 things, the middle part usually kicks in, and they can have a really great swim that way. So Coach Ray, she's been working tirelessly with those breaststrokers, getting them to where we needed them legal. I mean, a lot of people don't realize how many parts of breaststroke can be illegal. Mm-hmm. They've got to have a proper kick, proper hand, proper double 2-hand touch, all of those things. So just getting them legal and then asking them to put a little more speed into it. So we can't say enough. Everybody, when they first learn backstroke, as soon as they get to the wall, they want to turn over to see the wall. You can't turn over. All those things that the girls, flawless, no DQs on the girls at all.
Wow.
Boys, we had 3. And we actually would have been over 500 points. They say that our relay at the 400 relay for the boys went early. So it was dual confirmed. We didn't see it, but that would have put us over the 500. Now, that being said, we're going to be okay in the relays, going forward. But just a few little things like that. Had those girls had 1 DQ. I mean, that's another thing. Had Bella McDowell not done her 11 dives and diving, I mean, so many pieces of the puzzle came together for those girls that it was amazing. And I really feel that the universe just said to them, you have been working so hard. You've been doing everything humanly possible to get to this point, and we're going to get it to you.
Well, we've joked with you throughout the year that you kind of sandbagged expectations a little bit on the girls, because the first thing you said to us when we started the year, when we came to, we're like, what are we looking at with the swim teams this year? You said, the girls are so young. It's going to be tough. They've never swam competitively. There's a bunch of middle schoolers, a bunch of underclassmen. Like, yeah, we've got Lara and Ella and a couple others that are, they know what they're doing. But the team is so young, and you set the expectations so low.
I did.
And
here we are.
Drop a Lane Lang and Drew.
Yeah.
I know, right?
2.5 months later, District champs again.
Listen, I went in yesterday, again, like I went into Mid-Florida, with a realistic expectation of, I hope the girls are top 5. Like, they've really worked hard for top 5. And, you know, coming up against George Jenkins, coming up against Trinity, coming up against Citrus. I mean, all these schools that have really good girls programs, and saying, oh my gosh, we took that one, we took that one, we took that one. And Heather and I stood there yesterday, and she said, I think our boys are just gonna plow through these teams like, you know, they've never swam a day in their life. And our boys, I mean, they are just a powerhouse. And she said, you know, I think our girls should be top 3, Jack. I think maybe top 3, top 4. And I was like, oh, I hope top 3. And then we were watching the score each time. And like I said, she's a math genius in her head. I am writing numbers and using my phone as a calculator. But as we got down there, she said, if we can go into that relay, maybe just down by 3, 4 at the most, I think we've got it. And I'll tell you what, when that breaststroke score came up, we were like, well, this is it. I mean, we could take it if they take that relay. And then I saw the 2 girls that were starting, and I couldn't see the rest of their girls from the angle we were at, so I couldn't tell who they had in the rest of the relay. But when I saw the first one, Crystal River, yes, when I saw the first one, I was like, oh no, I don't know how this is going to go down, but let's go,
they had some
girls.
really good swimmers
Oh,
when they were
had
here a few
beautiful
weeks ago.
swimmers,
Yeah.
yes. Listen, these are they've already committed to colleges. Those girls, that girl Morgan, she's going to UWF, and they started swimming, and all of a sudden when Ella got in there and we started making some ground, I was thinking, okay, here we go. And man, at the end, it was a flood of emotions on everybody's part. I saw dads crying, moms crying, my husband crying.
Well, it's rare that you see a district tournament where there are so many points available come down to that narrow of a gap. And for it to be the last event, for it to be 2 teams that are both competitive in that event, and it's between the 2 of them, and you have to beat them by X number of places to
and we've come up against them, and we know what they have.
It is
how good they are.
Fine needle to thread.
It is
to get to that point. You can only take care of what you can take care of. But your girls got in the water, like you said. Once Ella starts making that comeback, how comfortable were you by the time Wayne was in the water in that relay?
We were Heather and I were settling in. We started to hug each other. There's a great video of us, and we start hugging each other, and then listen, you have to make sure that Lane touches the wall and Lara doesn't jump. There's still DQs that could happen.
Right.
So you have to wait till the very last second to make sure it's a clean swim. And so, which is what we thought on the boys, honestly. We thought that was a beautiful, clean swim. And it wasn't until they were giving out the trophies and that went up that we even realized that they had been disqualified in that 400. So with the girls, you have to wait. You have to make sure that relay exchange goes off well. And it looked really clean. And then, you just watch and, we're there, and then we were like, okay, we're good. As soon as Lara got in and it looked like it was clean, we started doing a little hugging. And I'll tell you, the Crystal River coach, she is a class act. She is she swam Olympic trials when she was younger, trying to get into the Olympics. Yeah. She came over right away and she said, listen to me, that was the greatest meet. I thank you both pushing my girls. I thank you both for just always being so professional, and your team is really just such a lovely, nice team. So she came over she was the first one actually to come over and congratulate us, which I thought was lovely. And then of course the celebrations took place and trophies were given out, and we've got tons of ribbons down there and medals and all kinds of good stuff.
Well, you had about 24 hours to celebrate. We're going to be the bad guys, though, and make you flip the page here a little bit now.
Right, yes,
Regionals coming up.
yes.
Biggest message to your team between now and pushing past this little 24-hour celebration and the off day today, get back
Correct.
in the pool Thursday.
Tomorrow.
Yep. Biggest message for you going forward for them to try to even bring back some more hardware.
I know, we have to just keep pushing. They needed a break today, coming off of Trinity, Mid-Florida, district diving, districts. I mean, that was such a compact.
Really underrated thing, by the way. 3 meets in 6 days.
6 days.
Yes.
And us putting together those meets in that shorter period of time and figuring out all those relays and what's our best going forward and all of that. So we needed like a mental health day today. But tomorrow we've got to bring everybody back because we do not know, other than if you came in first or second, who's moving on.
Yeah.
And we have a good chance of a lot of those 5th place, maybe 4th place, coming back in. Those top 10 kids, they could squeeze into regionals. And then we've got to really buckle down Monday, and then we'll leave Tuesday night and compete Wednesday.
Yeah, for those who don't know, it's the top 2 times in each event from each district automatically qualify for the regional, and then beyond that, it's the next 8 best times
They filter into 24.
to 24. So it's the next 16 best times
Yeah, so they have a
after
good-
the automatic
they have a good
qualifiers.
shot.
Yeah, so I mean, there are a ton of spots open. You never know what the other
You never
districts
know
look like.
what
So
they're and you don't know who, if they disqualify, you never
Right,
know
yeah.
what happens. So as soon as those other 3, the last one swims on Friday.
yeah, so you've got
We got the whole week
days
to bring
before you
home.
even know who is and
I
who
know,
isn't
they
going to be
keep
qualified.
texting.
So.
I keep telling them Friday. They're still texting, asking me if they made it.
There's no anxiety.
There's
in
no
this.
anxiety.
No, not at all.
It has to be the weirdest space to live in, right? Where you've got
Yes.
these kids and you've got to practice for 2 days before you even know if you're going to be swimming
Yes,
again.
very
but
awkward, weird. You just don't know who's going other than the ones who finish first or second.
But Coach, that does mean you get a couple more days, at least a minimum, with this group and with this 2025 team. The story's not done; it's not written yet. But can you just put into perspective how much fun this year has been for you and coaching this team? You have the veteran leaders, you have the Braganzas, the Lumpes, but then you got the youngsters that we talk about too. How much fun has this year been for you to coach?
We have talked about it. It was the most exciting and yet fastest, because I think we just had such a ball out there every single time. All of our practices, all of our meets, good solid group of kids, 1 or 2 little hiccups along the way, maybe with some behavior, but other than that, they have just put in so much work. And there's something to be said also about teaching someone to do something they've never done before, and then watching them do it and the process of that, because those girls had no language of swimming. So we had to teach them all of the language of swimming, of what we were even asking them to do, then showing them what we needed them to do, then working and tweaking and trying to get them to do it. So it was like taking a piece of clay and just molding it into a swimmer. And that part has been really thrilling to each meet, watch them do it better and better and faster, and maybe not use, keep their head still, stretch out their arm, or whatever it was that they did to make it better. And then yesterday, just do it. And so I have to say that has been really thrilling for us. I find that we talk an awful lot about, like yesterday, I would say Elise Bella for me was just glorious. I can't even explain it any other way. She did the 100 backstroke. We had to teach her everything. Every wall, she just performed 100%. You could not ask her to do one thing better. And when she was done, there's such a feeling of, I wonder if she realizes just how much that meant to us, how
significant
that was, that she swam that way, because Elizabeth Monahan, she's another one. I mean, 2IM, unheard of for somebody who never swam the 2IM to get all of that correct, not get DQ'd, swim it flawlessly. She's this big. I mean, it's just incredible.
That's
I mean, it's
championship
just,
performance.
yes, just watching them and their focus. They're only 12, 13.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, congratulations,
Thank
Coach.
you.
Your teams
It's been so
were
fun.
amazing to watch this year and have worked hard. We've gotten front row seats basically. Our
They have
office
worked hard.
is right outside the lobby next to the pool. So
Lucky you.
we get to see you guys warming up every day. We see how you and Heather and the other coaches are getting them in and out of drills every day. We walk through the pool constantly on our way to here, there, wherever, and we see the work that you guys are putting in, and to see it pay off like this has been awesome because the
Thank
kids
you.
really did work for it. Yeah.
Listen, our coaching staff, I mean, Heather, there's nothing I could say about her than I just adore her, and she is so brilliant at what she does. Coach Ray, she's been with us 20 years. I mean, 81 years old.
Yeah.
81 years old. She stood there yesterday for 5.5 hours cheering those kids on. Correction. Frank came on board. Frank's been awesome. We had Randy step in. I don't know what we would have done with him in the beginning. Him stepping in has been fantastic, working with our team. And then Dave Sicanolfi with the divers.
Yeah.
I mean, the diving program really took a leap this year. Those kids finesse this year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been exciting. And Sebastian's moving on.
Yeah, he's qualified.
I know,
That's
he
awesome.
qualified, which is so great. So we'll see how he does on Wednesday. That'll be exciting.
Yeah, super exciting. So again,
Thank you
Coach,
so
congratulations,
much.
and thank you for
Congratulations.
joining the program. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to wrap things up on the Buffalo Roundup right after this.
Buffalo fans, don't miss a minute of the action when it comes to on-campus sporting events. Be sure to tune in to broadcast all school year long on TBCS Live. Our live stream network features high-definition cameras, on-screen graphics, full commentary, and more. Check out our upcoming broadcast schedule on our athletics website by visiting athletics.tbcs.org/watch.
All right, thank you once again to Jacqui Mitchell for taking the time to talk to us. Again, congratulations to the VHS swimming and diving teams, both the boys and the girls, back-to-back district champs. Moving on to the rest of our fall sports, volleyball also in the playoffs already through to the regional rounds and getting a first-round win in the regionals at Astronaut on Tuesday night this week. Cody.
Yeah, I think it's a shot in the arm for the confidence of this volleyball team, right? The district final sort of built up towards that match with Montverde, did not go the way that they wanted it to, getting swept out of that one. Chance to hit the reset button for them in the postseason, right? And getting to face a team that you and I think the day before talked about how even on paper, at least it looked between the Buffalo and Astronaut in terms of a regional quarterfinal. Maybe one place different in terms of the point system in the state rankings, one different in the region rankings. I mean, they were very close. The common opponents were the same. VHS, though, 3 sets to the good in this one.
Astronaut taking the opening one, and then the Buffalo battling back from there. So I think a really good showing, first of all, in that they came out, kind of got punched in the mouth a little bit. Not especially competitive score in that first match, 25-16, I believe it was. Astronaut getting the win in that first one. So for the Buffalo to go on the road, take that opening blow, and then come back with 3 straight sets, I thought was really impressive.
Yeah, and this is a team that we have seen some resiliency out of, right, throughout the year. We maybe like to see a little bit more. I think Coach Mormon would agree with us. She would like to see a little bit more resiliency in the face of adversity. But we have seen at times this year where they've maybe dropped a set and come back. More often than not, I don't feel like it's been the first one. I feel like throughout the year maybe they've lost some second or third sets and come back to win matches. But on the whole, I think it's good for their confidence. Got the victory under the belt. Now, of course, what's coming next? Really tough one with a state power and Lake Highland Prep. But just, there is no just feeling good about getting to this point for Michelle Mormon. You better believe that this team is going to work extremely hard coming up to this regional semifinal matchup down there in Orlando. This is a team that I think, Lake Highland Prep, the Buffalo can find some points early in this match. Early. First set, I'm talking, generate some confidence and feel like that they not only belong on the same court but can beat them. I think that goes a long way.
Well, that's what we've talked about all year, right, is the Buffalo have looked competitive against the best teams in moments. They get close in that first set, they end up not winning it. It's like they have a little bit of an adrenaline crash, fall back in that second set, and then are competitive again in the third. That first match against Lake Highland Prep was 25-19, with Lake Highland pulling away a little bit at the end, was very competitive. If you can take that, maybe don't give up that run, or maybe get ahead getting down to those final few points, you get a chance to steal it. Who knows? And then obviously in sets 2 and 3 of that one, 25-13, 25-16, the Highlanders kind of did what they do, locked in a little bit. So you think maybe VHS might have woken them up a little bit. I think maybe they were underestimated a little bit in that one. Maybe they'll be underestimated again this Saturday. You never know. But we've seen it time and time again. For stretches, for sets, for entire matches, VHS can look as good as the best teams that they have faced. And they've played some of the toughest competition in the state, certainly in Central Florida. We've got to see them put one over the top finally against one of these top teams. Lake Highland Prep would be an incredible place to do that for the first time. But they've got to play a complete game. Outside of a couple of weeks in the back third of the season there, it's the first time that they've really been healthy. You get your full complement of players, and now it's do or die. And so, they knew going into the district final that they were going to make the playoffs. They knew that they were probably going to be the 4 or the 5 seed, almost certainly the 5 seed going into the final against Montverde.
Right.
There was not a lot of pressure on that one other than the pride of the district title. This is now for your season. You lose this one, it's over. And how do they respond to that, especially if they walk into that gym in Orlando and Lake Highland dominates that first set?
Yeah, the start is huge to me, like I said. But two, no better time than now to maybe pick up what would be the biggest win in program history, right?
Absolutely.
If you really want to add a feather to the cap here and keep this season going. But yeah, I agree with you. I think starting fast is going to be so huge just for the confidence, because we've seen it, especially at this level, high school volleyball, in our times in covering this program. These top teams, they're bears, right? I mean, they absolutely will just wear on you, and the power hitting, and especially the outside, and they're so solid all the way around, not very many weaknesses, if at all, and they're so well coached that if you allow it to snowball, if you don't get up early, if you don't have a good start, it's just tenfold trying to come back against them.
Yeah. A couple other quick hits. Cross country getting ready for the pre-state meet later in the week up in Tallahassee. Last tune-up before their playoff races, district regionals and state championships. Hopefully sending at least some individuals, if not complete teams, all the way to that state meet for the, 6th, 7th consecutive year it would be, I believe. Golf, wrapping up the regular season this week as well. They're facing First Academy of Leesburg today.
The boys are.
Yes, that
on Wednesday.
As
yes.
We're recording. You're going to get this on Thursday, so that match will have already happened. You can find the score on athletics.tvcs.org for that one. And then the other one, we've held off as long as we could on talking about it because they are in progress right now. Yeah,
nothing yet.
Bowling district championships were this week. Bowling is the one and only sport that goes straight from districts to state. There is no regional phase. The girls we talked about, we're going to have a tough time the boys were going to have a tough time in an enlarged field with a couple of other districts kind of condensing down. So rather than just the kind of Lake County district that they had been in, you've now got more teams from
Volusia County
and Volusia County that are coming into that district. And so the boys just barely got edged out of this one, finished 5th, needed to get to 4th to make it to that afternoon Baker tournament yesterday. Fell a few pins short on that one, but right on the cusp again of making it to those afternoon Bakers. The girls competing right now, they are through to the afternoon Baker round. So they finished in that top 4 in the morning, the 3 10-pin rounds to accumulate the score to make it to the Baker tournament. They're in the Baker tournament. They lost the first round. We do know that Amelia O'Brien will be through to states as an individual after posting the top score with 504
Yep.
In the morning session. And then Brenya Lighthouse is 3rd as well. So she should be advancing to states too. So really good performances there from the girls. Now just got to battle through the second half of that Baker's bracket. Lost that first one, but still have a chance. Got to win 2 in the lower half of the bracket to make it to that championship, and then you're through to the state meet.
Well, and a really good cap to this tournament, at least for Amelia O'Brien. She's had such a solid year. She's been the undisputed number 1 of this bowling team this year, consistently around 200. So to get an average of about 195 or whatever it was through the first 3 games, or at least I believe it was our high was 195. Really solid series. And to get to go to States, again, another bowler. How many years in a row back? At least one bowler at States, at least.
2016, outside of 1 year, going back to 2016, they've had at least a bowler from the boys or girls or a complete team make it through to state.
So another one at least guaranteed to go, and hopefully the whole girls team. We'll see.
Yeah, it's still possible. So again, you'll have to check out the website for that. Again, it's athletics.tvcs.org. And we'll have the results up there for you. Hopefully a story as well once we get the results from Tavares out there. That pretty much does it for this one. Again, plenty of fall sports still to be played. Almost all playoffs at this point, hoping for some home playoff football come November. And, of course, senior night will be next Friday night. Winter sports starting up pretty quick as well. We got soccer preseason starting
Practices
next
this week,
Yep.
basketball practice next week already.
And we got preseason soccer here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week as well. So getting right into it. Love this time of year when things start to overlap, huh?
Minus that it's like 85 degrees.
Minus that it's 85 degrees. Doesn't quite feel right for winter sports.
Not yet.
So whoever's in charge of the weather in Florida, hopefully they get the memo. But that'll do it for us for this edition of the Buffalo Roundup. We thank you so much for watching. Again, follow us on social media, follow us on YouTube, and we will see you next week with another episode. Until then, Cody, what do we tell them?
Go Buffalo.